Hey, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Well, I cleaned up a bit. I got my shaver done, and now we're ready to go. Current blood sugar has come down a bit. It's 7.3, three-quarters of the way calibrated. I am now at 0.325 units because I haven't bolused for breakfast as of yet. Pretty well corrected a few times. Last correction was at 7, and then I started to come down. Who knows what blood sugars do sometimes? Didn't really eat late last night, but I still, during the night, I was up around 9. Okay. So that's what yesterday looked like. Went up around 26, and it'll come all the way down this morning. So I'm not expecting a good number, and 59% was above, 41% was in range, no lows, and average sugar of 13. Still don't want an average sugar of 13. And this number here, it shows us that we need some attention to it. I could sit here and give injections all day, but that's not really going to do a great job. It'll probably help to make sure I don't go into DKA, but if my body all of a sudden starts resistance, then we're going to have issue. Today we're going to discuss a problem with disability and how everyone thinks, oh, well, yes, I'll just go for disability. We're going to discuss things. So stay tuned. We'll be ready to go in just a sec. This channel is provided for informational purposes only. Contact your physician for any diagnostic or treatment plan. Okay, in Canada, we have part of our social network is we have something called CPPD. It's Canadian Canada Pension Plan, sorry. Don't know where my mind was. But D stands for disability. Yes, it sounds like a wonderful thing. Government will pay you money just to lounge around and not do anything. It's not as great as it sounds. A lot of people try to get credit, but it doesn't always work out that way. And people feel, okay, yes, I have to do needles, I have to do blood tests. But you're not really disabled. And I know I've mentioned this a number of times. Being disabled with diabetes means that your diabetes, you're having problems controlling. You can have highs, and then in half an hour you could be low, and you celebrate the wins. You spend time having to change your machine out, not your machine out, sorry, your insulin and your tubing. All should be within a certain parameter. If you go over that parameter is when they start looking at diabetes. I never really thought of myself as being disabled. It wasn't until I saw my doctor, Dr. Wallace, who said, well, how are you making out on so much money about eating and rent? And I said, well, I make blah, blah, blah. I forget how much we was making at the time. And I said, that's all I can get because I'm not disabled. And she looked at me and she said, you can't work because of your disability and your neuropathy. You can't work because you're disabled, because your blood sugars certainly are not under control. So I would suggest we apply for it. She indicated to me that you may have a tough time getting CPP disability. And there are first rule of thumb for either provincial inherits BC or the CPP is don't pay any company to do it for you. If you truly are disabled, you can go online and get your disability paperwork. CPP disability should be pretty simplistic. And you go through, and the one clue I was given was take it at your worst day. But that doesn't mean, oh God, everything's my worst day. Yeah, I can just imagine. But utilize that as a step stool. What do I do? They take a look at how long it takes you to get dressed, get ready for the day. How about, do you need help with eating? Do you need help with clothing, toileting? It's all pretty much the same for everyone, and they have a standard you have to meet. You fill out the paperwork. Now, the first one I went through was for CPP. And CPP was the one I was told I was going to have the most problems with. Well, I didn't have problems with it at all. CPP came through and they said, well, yeah, you really need to go on, and I got approved. That's right. When it came time for BC, they were a little bit more strict. I don't know, at the time I got disability through the province, there was an awful lot of scamming going on, but I had to supplement it a couple of times. And in BC, because of work and not being able to work, I went on to welfare. And then we discussed about going, because I couldn't find employment at the time. We moved on and I went and got approval for BC disability, or what they call PWD, persons with disability. They take care of my medical, and I honestly have to be truthful. My expectations exceeded. BC has been great in helping, and you're not going to make millions, but you are going to be able to have a amount. It's never going to be a super amount. You're always going to say, Oh, yes, I want more money, but now, if you're found to be someone who's defrauding the government, it's not going to be good. So don't lie on your paperwork. It could come back to haunt you. Be as truthful as you can be about what it's honestly like in your day. The worst thing is they could say no, but you just have to take another look at things. So just move on, do your best with it. It's a relatively simple format. For both types, you have to submit paperwork, but also your doctor. So if your doctor is saying, you know what, I don't think you're really disabled, you're not going to get it. For myself, I got disability diabetes for one being a labile, or back when I applied, 2004, 2008, I think, 2008. I was placed on disability and never looked back. There's also something called disability tax credit, and this all sounds wonderful, and it all sounds great for diabetics who, oh yes, I should go out and go to the beach all day, and I can just live a life of luxury. No. And if you're just doing this to get money, just preying on your disability, that's fine. If you're profiting that way and you truly are disabled and truly need something to supplement you and help you get through your days, wonderful. But if you're just out there trying, oh, well, look, I can get more free money, you're not going to be able to get disability if you're doing a full-time job. Or chances are very rare. Now, I've talked a bit about you not getting your CPP. For certain things, you have to meet certain criteria. If you just go and make up items and the government finds out, you're going to be up a creek without a paddle. And the reasoning for this is a few years ago, just before I started to apply, diabetes was taken off the table. You could not apply for being disabled for diabetes. So many people had done that before, and they were finding they truly weren't disabled. So it was brought back, and now diabetes is up there. I also, for my complications, have got diabetes before. It's all good. Don't rely on lies. Be honest, be truthful, and you'll succeed. If you need disability and your country or area offers it, by all means, if you truly meet the requirements. If you don't try applying. Don't waste people's time. It's up to you and your doctor, and in our case, the governments of our province and their national, to decide whether disability works for you. before you start, it's worthwhile having the conversation with your doctor. I didn't go into that doctor's meeting saying, oh, well, I should be disabled. But I had tried to live and get as much of everything I could, but it just wasn't working for me. And my doctor approved, I got disability, and I think I got it was for 5 years, and then I got approved for another 5 years. The last time they decided that I wouldn't have to apply every 5 years. Sorry, just seeing it. There it is. It's gone. It was bugging me. It's fluff or something. So if you need it, it's there. The states have veterans and all sorts of different ones where you can take a look and get funding if you truly are disabled. Just because you have diabetes does not necessarily mean that you are disabled. With that, have a super day, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Bye now. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.